Most people think they're afraid of the dark, but that's not true. What we really fear is our own light. It means facing everything we've buried in the dark, and that is terrifying. It's easier to stay small, it's safer to blend in, because if we shine too brightly, we might be seen. And if we're seen, we might be judged. We might be rejected. We might fail. So we shrink. Not because we want to, but because at some point in our lives, we learned that being small was safer than being fully ourselves. We all enter this world as pure light, when we're lucky. No fear, no baggage, no doubt. Just being a baby, basically. But not all of us start with a blank page. From the moment we are born, we are shaped by forces we don't even understand. Our families, our cultures, our histories. Some of us are raised in love, in safety, in environments where it's okay to be exactly who we are. But for many of us, that's not the case. Science has shown that trauma can be transgenerational, encoded into our DNA, passed down like an unwanted inheritance. Before we even take our first breath, we may already be carrying wounds that aren't even ours. The scarcity of our grandparents, the unhealed wounds of our parents, the shame, the fear, the repression of those who came before us. And then, as we grow, we pick up even more experiences, heartbreaks, limiting beliefs, and bit by bit, we stuff them into an invisible backpack that weighs us down, making us feel small, unworthy, and disconnected from who we really are. We get so used to carrying this weight that it becomes normal. Living in pain becomes normal. Self-doubt becomes normal. And then, when an opportunity comes to be seen, to shine, to love, to be free, we freeze. We sabotage ourselves. We shrink back into the shadows. Not because we don't want the light, but because the light threatens to expose everything we've been trying to hide. And I know this because I lived this. I didn't always understand why I held myself back, why I couldn't fully let love in, why I pushed away the very things I wanted the most. But when I traced it back, I found the answer in my childhood. Growing up, I felt like I had to make myself smaller. I believed I wasn't important enough to take up space. I saw my father as emotionally absent. He was there physically, but not in the way I thought I needed. So I grew up having the impression that my father didn't see me, he didn't hold space for me, and because children don't rationalize emotions, they just feel them, I created a belief that shaped my entire life. If my father, the first male role model in my life, was emotionally distant, then love from a man wasn't available for me. That belief became my truth. I started seeing love as something I could never fully have. I convinced myself that men were unavailable, that I had to be self-sufficient, that if I needed love, I'd only end up disappointed. So I buried my emotions and became extremely independent and self-reliant. I told myself I was fine, I focused on success, on achievement, on proving I didn't need anyone. And in some ways, that belief worked for me. I built my own life, financial freedom, an online language business I love, the ability to travel and experience the world on my own terms. But deep down, something was still missing, because no amount of external success can fill an internal void. And the cruelest part is that we don't even realize we're doing this, and that we are actually inflicting harm on ourselves and our health by not listening to our emotions. For years, I ignored this truth. I told myself that I was just an overachiever, that it was part of my identity, and that I was fine on my own. But then life started mirroring my wounds right back to me. No matter how much I achieved, I kept attracting the same patterns: disconnection, rejection. And at first I thought, I was just unlucky in love, that I was choosing the wrong people. But then I realized something huge. This wasn't random. Life was reflecting my internal world right back to me. My deeply held beliefs, my unresolved wounds. The universe wasn't punishing me. It was trying to wake me up. And that's when everything changed. I stopped looking outside for the answers, and I started looking within. Instead of asking, why do I keep attracting unavailable people, I asked, why do I still believe that love is unavailable to me? And then I went even deeper. I learned about transgenerational trauma, how pain gets passed down through generations, Studies show that descendants of trauma survivors, whether it's war, slavery, abandonment, or deep loss, can inherit emotional wounds until you break the cycle. And here is what I need you to understand. You are not your wounds. You are not your past. You are not broken. But you are carrying things that were never meant to be yours. And the weight of those things, old beliefs, unprocessed pain, generational trauma, has been dimming your light for way too long. And I know how terrifying it is to let go, because when you've carried something your whole life, even if it's heavy, even if it hurts, it feels familiar. It has become your identity, and familiar always feels safer than the unknown. But here's the truth. What's ahead of you is so much lighter than what's behind you. And you have the power to set yourself free. So step 1, acknowledge the wound. Your patterns will keep repeating until you become conscious of them. If you keep attracting the same pain, the same struggles, it's not a coincidence. It's a pattern. And patterns don't lie. They are reflections of something deep inside of you, something unresolved, something still waiting to be addressed. And for me, it was my father wound, rejection, abandonment, the belief that love for man wasn't meant for me. And for you, it might be the same thing, or a mother wound, or betrayal, fear, shame. It can be anything. And you can always ask yourself, where have I felt this before if you face a difficult emotion? Or what belief am I carrying that isn't serving me anymore? Am I living my life based on an old wound? Because if you don't face it, it will keep showing up in your perceived reality, in your relationships, in your self-worth, in the way you show up, in the way you see yourself, or you don't see yourself. So the first step is really seeing it. And step number 2 is enter the dark with compassion. That's the thing about emotional wounds. We don't just suppress them, we also compensate for them. Yeah, we build entire identities around them. Some of us become overachievers, constantly seeking validation through success. Some avoid love altogether, afraid to get too close and afraid to get hurt. Some numb the pain with distraction, work, sex, alcohol, drugs, social media. The ways we cope with it might look different, but the root is the same. We are running from the parts of ourselves that feel unworthy. But here's what I've learned. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. Most people try to numb their wounds, but healing requires the opposite. You have to sit with yourself. You have to face what you've been avoiding. You have to go into the dark to bring light to it. And as gay men, this can feel even harder because we grow up in a world that tells us we are different, that we have to prove our worth, that we have to earn love. So we hide, we shrink, we armor up because deep down, we learned that if we showed our full selves, we might not be accepted. So as a result, we become perfectionists, overachievers, people pleasers. We adapt, we disconnect from the parts of us that feel too much. But the truth is, you are worthy of love exactly as you are. You just forgot. And healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before the world taught you to hide. And then step number 3, rewrite your story. Why am I sharing all of this? Because maybe you see yourself in my story. Maybe, like me, you spent years carrying something heavy without even realizing it. You too have been afraid to step into your light, to take up space, to be seen. And trust me, I know exactly how terrifying that is. When I first thought about starting this YouTube channel, for example, I was terrified. There was this internal shame, this fear of being vulnerable in front of the camera, of people seeing me and judging me. I was so scared that the first video I posted was 2 years before I officially launched my channel. But then a friend of mine asked me a simple question. If you could help just one person by sharing your truth, wouldn't it be worth it? And my answer was a resounding yes. That's when everything shifted. Because I realized that my fear of being seen was just an extension of my deeper wounds. And the same fear that had kept me small in love, in life, in my own self-worth, was now trying to keep me from my purpose. And I wasn't going to let it win. So I rewrote my story. I decided that my voice mattered, that my experiences are valid, that the things I had learned, the healing I had done, could help someone else. And that is exactly what I want for you. So many of us are waiting for permission to shine. We're waiting for someone to tell us, you are worthy, you deserve love, you are enough. But the truth is, no external force or no one is going to give you that permission. You have to give it to yourself. Your light has been there all along. It's just been buried under years of conditioning, trauma, and self-doubt. But when you're willing to go into the dark, to face yourself fully, something shifts. You realize you were never broken. You were just carrying things that were never yours to begin with. And now it's time to let them go. This is why I started this channel, because I know what it's like to feel lost, to feel like something is missing but not know how to fix it, to keep repeating the same patterns and wonder if it will ever change. And I also know what it's like to finally break free, to finally look in the mirror and see yourself clearly, to finally feel worthy of love, success, and joy. Not because you earned it, but because it was always meant for you. And it was always inside of you. And that's what this channel is about. If this message resonates with you, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. See you next time. Bye-bye.